Hola, mi gente. Welcome back. Today we have a very, 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 very special guest, Indica Fox. So, everyone say hello to Indica Fox.
Hi.
Hello.
Super,
Thank you so
super.
much for having me.
Thank you for doing this with us. Like, we're super, super excited about this.
Very much, yes.
Like, as you can tell, I keep repeating because I'm excited and nervous. So,
Don't be nervous, girl. I'm nervous. If anything, this is your show. This
girl.
is y'all show. So I'm nervous and I'm really honored to actually be here working with
Oh,
you guys, my fellow Latinas, okay?
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We want to make sure that you feel comfortable. I know we might feel like
Yes.
a little jittery, but you know what? Eventually we're gonna just get pretty warm. Like the more we keep talking, the more comfortable we're gonna get. And it's just gonna feel like
Yeah,
we're sitting at a
Definitely.
table with each other. So
Definitely.
girl.
So I'm going to give everyone a little background about Indica Fox. Who is Indica Fox? So Indica Fox was born and raised in Silver Spring, Maryland. She is currently residing in California. She is 23 years young. She's Salvadorian-Mexican. She's also a beauty advisor and she has her own podcast, Trans Girl Club. I suggest everyone go listen because
yes.
everyone needs to listen to your journey, period. Doesn't matter.
Thank you. Thank you.
So in on her podcast, she discusses things like all things trans. Her mission is to help trans women find clarity and guidance on their journey. So anything you would like to add, Indica Fox?
Well, pretty much, I just recorded 2 episodes
Oh my
to
goodness.
my podcast. But I'm definitely going to be coming out with more content. So if anyone is interested in, checking me out, I'd love that. And I love all the support. And thank you, Jocelyn and Miss Catitudes,
Yes.
for having me today. Thank you so much for that introduction.
Thank
Yay.
you. So, on this episode, we're going to go ahead and talk about her experience growing up in a Hispanic household, religious, not only religious household, but a Christian household, all while being a woman. The challenges she faced growing up and discovering the woman that she was always meant to be. So let's go ahead and dive in.
Yes.
Alrighty, so just to like get started, what was life like for you growing up in a Hispanic household?
Growing up in a Hispanic household, it was fun. I mean, the parties, the food, the family gatherings, those things are fun. And looking back at my life, those are pretty much the highlights, like the good times that I like to look back at, are the carne asadas,
Oh
the
yes.
el chimol, like all of that stuff, it's just so much fun. But also growing up in a Hispanic household, especially being first generation from, Hispanic immigrants, there is a lot of different traditions. You guys spoke about that on your podcast, the traditions that they bring, from their countries to here. And
Yeah,
we're kind of like, well, this US, like it's a little different.
very
So it's
much.
definitely hard, right? Yeah. So you guys definitely know what it's like from that perspective. And my parents were like, my dad is Mexican. Okay. So he kind of
And
has
mom's
like that
Salvadorian?
Salvador, my mom's
Okay,
Salvadorian, and I
okay.
grew up more like with Salvadorian around me.
Oh,
So yeah, but my dad, he definitely had that like traditional macho kind of
mm,
man vibe to him. He was kind of scary.
yeah. I think Mexican dads are usually like that. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So, did he like wear the cowboy hats and the cow? My dad, even though he's Salvadorian, he used to do that. He wore the cowboy hat and the cowboy boots with the belt.
He did. I
So,
swear, he would even wear bandanas like to work with like those like biker white man like biker
Oh, are you
sunglasses. You know what I'm talking about?
glasses? Yeah.
they thought they
Man,
were
he
hot
was a
shit with that. I'm
traditional.
telling you.
Yeah, and he was just very strict. And
Okay.
You know, growing up and being transgender, I was titled as a boy,
Mhm.
right? And I never really felt like I fit into that label and that category. And my parents being religious and well, mostly my mom, she was super religious and, you know, being Hispanic, she definitely always tried to keep me normal,
Mm.
you know, trying to keep, like, she really prayed with us. We
What
went
she
to
thought was normal.
church, right, what she thought was normal. And, you know, I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. That's what my mom is, Seventh Day. So we went to church on Saturdays.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it was a little annoying because it's Friday, like I want to have fun, but no, we had to go to bed early because Saturday church.
well, that's tough.
I grew up in a Christian household and it was Apóstoles y Profetas and it was crazy. Like growing up, basically like it was just insane to me. I'm like, all of you guys are so false. Like, why are you guys trying to portray yourselves as good people when you guys are really mean and evil, judging people? And I was like, what, 5, 6? And I was already thinking that, like, you guys are so fake. Like, I was like, this is a cult, if anything, not the witches. But it
Wow.
was insane. But how did you your parents being was your dad part of that as well? Or was it just your mom?
My dad, my dad and his family grew up Catholic. So
Oh, so
I was
how was
kind of
that
getting,
growing up?
it was like it was just like two worlds at once. It was a lot to handle because I would also go to like the mass, you know, with my Catholic
Mhm.
side of the family. I would like I remember being a kid and I would eat like that white stuff
Yeah,
Oh,
like
at the
the
bread.
church.
Is
bread.
that bread? It's like a little
It's
thin slice of bread.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be bread, but it wasn't bread. It definitely disintegrated in your mouth once like you ingested it.
Yeah.
And it just always made me feel uncomfortable because the clothes I was wearing. I feel
Oh.
like my dysphoria really stemmed from those formal clothing, the button-up shirts with the belt and the blazer. I
Mm.
always felt disgusted wearing that kind of stuff.
Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. I'm sure that that was really hard for you.
Yeah.
Like, and how did you deal with that? Like, did you ever like, cause like my girlfriend, she used to get really upset wearing dresses and like, stockings and anything girly, you know?
Yeah.
Did what effect do you think that that had on you, if it had an effect? Like, well, you said your dysphoria, correct? Like,
It right, kind of looking back, it probably was just dysphoria, but at that time, I just didn't know what was going on.
mm,
You know, I had no clue. I didn't know anything about sexuality
yeah,
or gender identity, gender expression, because, you know, my parents, they were so religious and traditional that they never really spoke about diversity and, you know, different kinds of topics and different kinds of people, you know, that's out there. So I just felt like, you know, let me push these feelings away. And I tried to conform, but at the same time, I just never felt good in my own skin. It wasn't about until like I was 12, 11 years old when things started to take a turn.
and,
Yeah.
what happened at that time? Like, what started to take a turn for you?
Well, let me say this. Growing up, I was always like a feminine little being. I loved all things, you know,
Mm,
feminine. Like I loved to be with my mom. I hated going to work with my father.
yeah.
He always wanted me to go to work with him. I never wanted to. He got me boxing gloves and the
Yeah.
little
You
things
were
to
just
hit
like,
on.
He
I
was
just
trying.
he
It's like,
was really trying to, you know, have me be his little JR, his little junior.
oh
But
my god.
no, I just never was it. And then I was like maybe 10 when my sister had left a big bag of her clothes in my room.
Oh, okay.
And then out of curiosity, I don't know what happened, I just decided to try it on. So
okay.
I put her
That's
clothes
nice.
on and I felt like liberated.
Wow.
Oh my
I
gosh, I got
felt like
chills.
just ah
That's
for
crazy how something
real.
like that's so small like that can make you feel like
like yourself,
Yeah,
like
okay,
you.
this is where I feel comfortable. This
Yeah.
makes me feel comfortable.
I'm about to
That
start
was kind of like
crying.
eye-opening for you, you know, because again, like you said earlier, you were very closed off about, like, sexuality. You didn't know, like, anything about it or,
Yeah.
you know. So
Hmm.
that must have been a huge eye-opening moment for yourself.
Yeah.
It was, and I didn't like feel disgusted or ashamed of myself. I felt like the total opposite. Like this
Which
is
is
it,
amazing, and that's a beautiful
right?
feeling. Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the highlights of my like realization, if you know what
That
I
is
mean.
beautiful. Like,
Thank you.
extremely beautiful. I'm literally, like, tearing up.
Don't care.
Is this, like, older sister that left her bag or
Yeah, she's 10, 11 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
So her clothes were a little more like,
Out
um,
there. Yeah.
shoulders showing, back out.
Yes. So you were like, "Okay, I'm really feeling this."
A ball.
Right. It was cute. And I
Yes.
was so young. I was in middle school. So right in that moment, I just started to keep, doing it. And it started getting, I started going deeper and deeper into my gender expression. And I would wear makeup. I would put on like blue eyeshadow and go to school.
I heard that part in,
Yeah.
on your YouTube channel where you were like, "Yo, I would put, like, some quick Maybelline stuff, like, I would use it with my hands and put it on with my hands, like, yo," but you would always have to take it off by the time you get home,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, so
I'm
I would like do
sure
my makeup at school.
Okay. And how did you get away with it for, like, the amount of time, like, in middle school?
I was getting away with it for a little while. And I got a little careless because I knew like my mom
Yeah.
was not going to be okay with it. And I was scared of my dad and his reactions, right? So I tried my best to really hide it. And I took pictures on my mom's iPod of me in like this orange booty short with like a white tank top.
Oh
I
my
was like
god.
11 now. And then I forgot to delete them, or probably did delete them, but they were still there some way, somehow.
Oh my gosh.
somehow it was still in there.
Somehow. And then my sister, she's a year older than me, a year and 5 months. She shows my mom. And she's like,
No.
basically, Mom,
Oh,
look.
Why would she do that?
did you feel some type
Really,
of way?
I felt betrayed.
I
I
feel like if
felt so hurt.
anything, she coulda came up to you first and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
like,
What's
you wanna
going
talk
on?
about this? Like, what's going
Hmm.
on?" You know, type of stuff, like,
Yeah.
My heart goes out to
Honestly,
you.
that was the moment of like basically coming out. And sometimes I say, oh, I didn't come out of the closet. I was basically pushed out,
yeah.
which is like one of the worst things anyone could like feel because you feel like you're just being exposed, like you just got raped basically, and your
Yeah.
clothes have been ripped off of you, and now you're in front of like everyone
Ugh,
naked.
Yeah. And I know that you mentioned, about your counselor calling your parents, and basically saying, "Hey, is there something you wanted to say to them?" And,
All right,
oh, this
so
pissed me off.
after that
yeah,
happened, right,
I'm like, "They're not supposed
a
to
few
trust."
years later, there was just a lot of I grew up in a very violent home, if I may add that
yeah,
to this show. My
yeah,
parents grew up, you know, fighting with each other. Like the police was at my house all the time.
yeah.
Growing up, that's all I remember is my parents being physical with each other. And
Sorry.
yeah, it's okay. Like I feel like that's where me and my sister started to, take those traits from my parents, and we started to do that with each other. So we
Uh,
kind of started to really fight with each other, hate each other, dislike each other. And I think that is what led to her kind of like exposing me. But other than that, because of all like the violence and stuff like that, like my dad one day, I was like having a fight with my sister in the kitchen, and she was like screaming out for my dad, being really exaggerated because nothing was even happening. And he comes to like defend my sister, and he kind of like shoves me against the stove.
Oh man.
And after all of these years of so much violence and arguing and fighting, I was so fed up. I was so tired. So I basically kind of like assaulted my dad with like a kitchen knife.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Like I picked up a kitchen knife and like I face. And I was like staring at him dead in the face. It was just a crazy
oh my
moment.
gosh.
It was
I'm
like,
like,
oh,
I can't even imagine how surreal that moment would have been. And,
Yeah.
it sucks that you even pushed to that limit.
Yeah.
yeah.
That it's really unfortunate that it got pushed to that limit and it even pushed you
Yeah.
to go
Like
that far,
Oh,
I feel like
I didn't.
parents should be able to question themselves, like, what am I? Because honestly, kids are sponges. Like, what they see is what they're gonna, soak in. So when I would see my mom getting mad at my dad and like talking bad about my dad and whatnot, I would do the same, but in my dad's face or whatever. And so like for you, I'm sure like you seeing your parents all the time just fighting or whatever, it's just like a normal thing. It just becomes a norm.
Yeah.
It
And
was
then like
literally normal.
yeah, so it's just, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that.
Indica,
It's
do you still talk
okay.
to your siblings or how
I
is your relationship with them?
Ever since I moved away, communication has been really rough because they're still obviously like I'm here in California, and but I do talk to like my older sister
Okay.
and the youngest to the most. So
Okay.
like the oldest and like super youngest. Um, Other than that, it's like not a lot of communication.
Oh,
Okay.
I hope one day that
It's
there
more.
will be that space where you guys will eventually end up being able to communicate with each other. I feel like especially when it comes to siblings, I wanna be like, you guys can work through it, but I know that there's certain family members that, like, if they're toxic, it's okay to push them away. I
Yeah.
get that. But I don't know, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like with, like, siblings, it's like I have that hope that, you know what, it can kinda be rekindled, at least, have that conversation, express how you guys feel, and then kinda move forward. I don't I would hate for
Yeah.
We
anything to
kind of
happen.
already had that moment where we've kind of like spoke about everything that happened, and we kind of like try to move past it. But after that whole like rekindling, still not the same.
Still, it's just not the same. Okay.
It's just not the
Well,
same.
at least you guys tried. Okay, I thought you were just like you guys left it as it was, and that's
Oh
just
no, mm-mm. We
okay.
definitely had good moments after that. And to get back to Catitude's question, after the whole incident with my dad, I was sent away to like a psychiatric thing. I was a patient for about like maybe 2 weeks, and I had a social worker there, and I told him that I was bisexual
Okay.
because I was scared to identify as anything else. Because if I come out as bisexual, then I feel like my mother would still have some kind of hope that maybe, I'd end up with a
Yeah.
woman and, live happily ever after, have kids,
You tried to
So
ease it on them.
right.
Yeah.
I told him that though. I wasn't planning on telling my parents. And then one day we were having like a family therapy session, and he kind of like put me on blast a little bit. Like, is there something you want to tell your parents?
Oh my god.
I would have been like, no.
That pissed me off.
No,
Because
why? Why?
I was like
Why would you say that?
I feel like when a child is coming up to you and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm struggling with," or whatever, like, I feel like counselors should ask or whatever whoever should be like, "Hey, do you
Mhm.
feel safe enough to talk to your parents about this?" If it's a no, then we're not gonna bring it up, because safety comes first regardless, especially when it comes to a child. Like, there are so many
Yeah.
instances where, like, a kid comes out to their family, and then after that, what happens to them?
Yep.
Like, we all know what happens, and it's, like, really messed up. So I don't understand why he would out you to your parents. Like that to me that's just messed up. I feel like there should be
Yeah.
a better way to handle that, period.
Yeah, he would even ask me because, you know, I was like in denial too because, you know, when those pictures came out, like my sister showed my parents, like I was always kind of denying it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, the evidence is there, but no, it's not true. It's not what it looks like. You
yeah,
know, I'm straight, I'm straight, I'm straight.
yeah.
I hate that you were even in that situation.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
did you have any supporters growing up? Like, or did you just feel alone most of the time?
I was around a lot of people. I have 6 sisters.
Wow.
I have
So you
6 sisters and 2 brothers. I have aunts and uncles. And I grew up with the best friend. We met in school. We were like friends from pre-K to
Oh,
the age up until we were like 21.
oh wow.
Yeah, so I feel like she was someone who I could be around. You know, because she was a bad bitch. Like growing up, she was gorgeous, beautiful. She was fly, and I was just this lost puppy. So
Oh,
hanging around her helped me kind of like express myself in a way. You
yeah.
know, she was definitely sort of like she was also like bisexual. I think she still identifies as bisexual.
Okay.
And she was dating girls at a very early age, you know, but at the same time I was starting to figure out who I was. She was going through the same thing. So that's where we really connected. She was dating girls at like 12 years old.
Wow.
okay?
I kissed my first girl at age 5.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So yeah, me and her kind of went through that together, and her support really helped me kind of blossom for
that's so
sure.
awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah,
It's like
a
having that
friendship for
friend.
like 20 years.
Yeah, she helped you come out, like, by expressing yourself, like, in
And
your
I'm
own
sure you
way.
probably
That's very
helped her also,
more than likely.
Yes,
right?
yes, and I believe that I really, really did. I
Yeah.
swear to God, we're sisters. We considered each other sisters, and sisters take
Ah,
from each other. You
I
know what I
love
mean?
it. I love it.
Yes,
You guys like both probably like boosted each other up. You guys made each other feel comfortable in your own skin, and just
that was my that was my sister. We showered together. We were like
oh my
15, still
god.
showering together.
okay. All right,
Like, I've always wanted a friend like that, bro. Like,
sis.
Like we did everything together. We fought people together.
same.
We've destroyed schools together. We pulled fire alarms and evacuated the whole entire school together.
Oh,
Like she was my
damn, so
partner
you
in
lived life.
crime.
Love it.
But unfortunately, we're not friends anymore.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Is that for a reason why? Or, like, you guys just went your separate ways, basically?
Oh my
Kind of.
gosh, there is some strong lightning happening over here. Like,
Ooh.
yeah, that was pretty
I
strong. I'm
can't
sorry.
hear anything.
It kind of scared me. Okay. I'm like close to the window. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh
cut
my
you.
goodness. No, you're fine. Um, oh yeah, ever since I moved, we just like kind of like lost touch because I needed to find myself because we were so intertwined.
Oh,
We were
yeah,
so intertwined that I felt like, well, who am I?
yeah.
Who is Indica motherfucking Fox? You know? Am I
Yeah,
allowed to cuss?
yeah,
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay.
yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you're good.
Yes, and just a couple of months ago, she had told me, give me my credit because I basically made you.
Oh my gosh, no,
She said that to me a few
no,
months ago, not too long ago. She was
no.
like, give me my credit because I made you.
But did she come off like in a joking way, or was it malicious,
I don't
or
even know if
It
you can put
wasn't
people out
malicious. The
like that. I
tone
mean,
wasn't malicious. It was
okay.
serious. It was
Oh,
like serious. Like she would say that growing up, like, "Oh, I birthed you," da 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 da. And,
Um,
I kind of just brush it off like, whatever, we're just fucking kids. But
yeah,
now, being 23 years old, going
yeah,
Yeah.
through what I have gone through in my life, I moved across the country at 20 years old. I'm
yeah,
23 now, bitch. In these past 3 years, I have become someone else.
yeah.
Okay. So for her to be like, oh, I made you into the woman you are today, girl, I'm
But
sorry, but
who
no.
says that though?
Almost,
I mean,
you could. It just.
I don't know.
How do you even like word that in a positive way? I'm trying to think.
It's because it wasn't though. It wasn't.
Right.
Give her
It
the
wasn't,
credit
it just takes away from my womanhood, who I am
Yeah.
as a trans woman, trying to take credit for who I am. Like,
from
yes,
me.
we grew
I
up together. You put me onto this, but I put you onto that. And like, she just really tried to take credit for exposing me to makeup, exposing me to clothes, for bleaching my hair,
But isn't
and for
that
those
what's called
reasons.
being a friend? Like, wasn't she a friend?
Exactly.
That sounds like something a
Yes.
friend would do.
Yeah. Not
That's
like
what girlfriends do at sleepovers. Like,
I'm
but you want to claim that
confused.
you made me? It doesn't make sense to me.
I feel like she see if I was your friend during that time, I would have been like, "Girl, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy, the woman that you're becoming." So
Exactly.
not just being a positive friend. That's clearly not a
Hmm.
positive friend. Because like
Yeah,
you shouldn't take any credit for someone else's journey, period, you know? Like everyone has their
yeah,
own journey, whether you had
right,
something to do with it or not, whatever. Like, don't take the credit because you're not living their
right.
life, period. So,
Yeah.
It just came out very egotistical because,
yeah.
she had money. I grew up in a very like low income family. So she kind of really kind of took me under her wing. Like, she would pay for things, when we went out to eat. I didn't have enough money to buy something. She would buy it for me and feed me. So I feel
Which is
like
cool.
that's where it stems from. So
That's
she
Even
felt
as
like
like
she
an
nurtured
adult.
me and birthed me.
I feel like even as an adult, like, okay, like if you're doing things for me, like don't later throw it in my face.
yeah.
And I feel like
Right.
that's
Like,
what
I've
was
fed
there.
homeless people before. I've given homeless people in the street money. Am I gonna go back to the homeless person and be like, hey, I gave you money, so give me my credit? Like,
Yeah, like
you owe
no.
me?
It's not cool.
I mean, it's very unfortunate, especially that you guys were friends for that long. But I don't know. It seems like she was just being a friend and now she wants to throw it in your face as something else. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Hmm.
she might low key be feeling some type of way about you and you doing your own thing. On the
So,
low. You don't know.
was she a Leo?
Right.
I don't know.
Cancer.
Damn.
Oh my god. I
Yes.
apologize on behalf of all cancers because
Goodness.
I would never
I feel like cancers are so cool.
like
They are.
I
She was amazing. She was super funny, emotional. She was literally like my twin flame, my soulmate. And before we move on to the next like topic, I do want to say that I still love her to death. And if she ever really is in a place in life where she needs someone, like, I wouldn't, hesitate to be that person. So
Oh, I love
it
that.
is
I
what
love
it
that.
is. Yeah.
because that's what friends
Yeah.
are for.
Right. Exactly.
Leaving that
But
on a
I
positive note.
digress.
Yes.
Exactly.
Love it. Oh my gosh.
Indica, how was school like for you? Like, like
Ah,
high school
ah,
and all that? How
ah.
was that?
Well, I was bullied my whole entire life.
Ah,
Elementary school, I was bullied.
Wow.
Um, right. I was bullied. Middle school, I was bullied as well. Like, sixth grade, I was bullied. And then I couldn't even use the bathroom because, of my gender. And I just felt outcasted. It was the worst thing. I was physically assaulted at school and I would keep quiet.
Stop.
I wouldn't say anything because I was raised like snitches get stitches, don't say shit. Like, we handle that shit on our own. You know what
That's
I'm saying? Like, it
crazy.
was very like
yeah.
But I
DMV
feel
type
like
of.
I feel like because what that makes you 10 years younger than me. I feel like your generation is like a little bit more open. Like even my daughter's generation, I feel like they're a little bit more open, right? I would have thought it
Mhm.
wouldn't be that way for you.
No. So, because
Yeah, my generation was the generation to kind of start the trend in a way.
yeah,
And I feel like kids who are 10 years younger than me are finally in that space where it's zero, zero,
Right.
zero tolerance. Because
Okay.
even teachers were nasty with me. They would isolate
mm,
me from the classrooms. They would put me
No.
in my own little world, move my desk from everyone, and literally let the class say whatever they wanted to say to me. And the
And
teacher would not care.
that's disgusting. That's disgusting behavior. As an adult, do
even
better.
in high school, like your whole
Oh
high school
girl,
4
high
years and
school,
everything.
by the middle of middle school, girl, I switched with like my whole gender identity and like figuring out who I was and watching Bad Girls Club. I know y'all remember.
Yo, I've been watching since season 1, okay? You can name me. I know every season, okay?
I
I
am.
started watching at season
I've always been
eight.
a tomboy, so I don't know.
Oh
Girl,
my
I used to swear I could be on that show. Low key, I know, because they be
god.
fighting
I
over
swear
anything,
to God.
okay?
I swear to God. I thought I was gonna be the first trans woman on the show.
I would have been like, get it, get it. Yo, they gonna catch
No,
you.
but with the help of that, I was fighting bitches. It's like you can't say shit to me anymore. Like we're gonna fight. Like I started to really stick up for myself, and all these years of being bullied, it just like triggered that inside of me to like want to fight whoever has a problem.
Right.
You built like this wall basically like a because everyone was just coming at you because you were just being
Hmm.
yourself. That's it.
Right.
And it's just like people are just so fucked up.
And I wasn't like the only one who was transgender. I remember this one girl, she was like 2 grades ahead of me. She was transgender.
Oh, wow.
And she was a beautiful girl, very skinny, petite, like super, super, super passable. Me on the other end, I was, a little thick, a little.
Which is good. Okay. Nothing wrong with thick
More to love.
people.
More to love.
Okay.
Yeah, but pre-transition, it was looking a little rough. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a lot of like diversity when it comes to like LGBT people. So I
Yeah.
feel like I was definitely a target and like, oh my God, that's different. Or look how they're talking, look how they're
That just
walking.
annoys me. It annoys me because I just feel like by like the year or whatever, the high school years that you were there, like I would have felt like, okay, people aren't going to be as harsh anymore. Like I knew a girl and
Yeah.
she was a transgender, and I know that she went through her process, and I know that she struggled. I know that she got jumped. I knew that she used to be scared walking home a certain way. A certain way
Hmm.
back home because she used to live in my neighborhood. I follow her now on social media, and let me tell you, she is bad. Okay?
Yeah.
Bad. You would have never even thought that she went through anything that she went through in high school. So like
Mhm.
I get it, but I just would have not thought that it's still happening like that. Well,
Yeah.
during this time.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Northwood.
Northwood.
Is that the one right there by downtown Silver Spring?
I'm trying to think.
It's not
No,
too
that's the
far
one.
from downtown, but it's not right there.
Northwood is like what, Four Corners, a little bit more up Four Corners, right?
Ew, yep. There
Mhm.
we go.
I
Right
said
at
Four Corners.
University.
It
Four
sounded familiar.
Corners. The McDonald's right there. Yo,
What
I
was the
like that
spot?
McDonald's. Their
Right.
breakfast be on point. Just saying.
Okay. No, for high school, there was actually more like LGBT faces, I guess you would say.
Every
But still, I still felt that around. And I remember wanting to go to the bathrooms. I would go to the bathrooms, but security would confront me and tell me, I'm sorry, but you can't do that. That's the reason why I left Einstein. You know
oh my
Einstein High School?
Yeah.
god, nasty.
I went to Einstein High School my freshman year. I wanted to use the restrooms. They said no. So I stopped going. I dropped out of that school and went to Northwood. And then Northwood was trying to do the same damn thing. They were telling me to go use the nurse's bathroom, like the disability bathroom.
Yeah.
That's rude. Oh my god.
Excuse me, what are you trying to say? Like I'm some type of disabled person, which there's nothing wrong with that, you know, like I love everyone, but I'm don't consider myself with a disability because I am transgender.
Yeah.
You know what I
Was
mean?
was there like a group in high school that you could go to or anything like that? Like, you know, because at the high school that I went to, like there was a group for the LGBTQ community, and as soon as I found out, I was like, "Oh, that's me."
Oh yeah, there
So,
was an alliance. They called it like an alliance, and
okay.
I know Einstein had one. I'm not too sure about Northwood. I really can't remember.
Yeah.
But I take matters into my own hands because I went up to that office and I was like, y'all need to reach out to the upper echelon who runs these schools because this is unacceptable.
I
Tell
know
them.
that's right. Yes.
I
Yes.
was like, let me file a case, let me do something. This is my
Seriously.
complaint. Let them know. Let them
Yeah.
know.
Let them
Because
know.
I'm gonna use the bathroom regardless. There's
I
nothing I
love
can
that you
say or
spoke
do.
up.
I'm gonna use
Yeah.
the bathroom. Right. So they came back to me and they were like, you know what?
Oh. Oh,
Your
now?
case, your case got approved.
Okay.
There we go. We just go.
Okay. So I made it possible for like future trans people to use the bathroom that, you know, they correspond with. So
I
This
love
needs a
that.
moment. This needs a
Yay.
moment
yes. That
because
was my moment.
it's the little things that make the biggest difference.
Yes.
Like
Because what
not
if you would have said
Yeah.
anything?
I know it would have kept going on, you know. So and I'm so, girl, where's your award? We need
Oh my god.
your award now.
I should be on the Northwood Hall of Fame.
Yes. You need to go back and be like, look, here's my picture. Okay.
Right?
I'm gonna post it right there.
Once I become
Just
famous,
like
I'll
that.
do it.